What's up, guys? Welcome to the match review. And where do I start? 4-0 away to Brentford, all in 35 minutes. Game's pretty much over in half an hour. Even after the first two goals, game could be over after 20 minutes. 2 mistakes. Is Ten Hag to blame? Tactics, teams he chooses. Let's go over it in this video. First of all, let's start with the lineups. All right, so lineups. I mean, De Gea, before the match, no one had a problem with him. Everyone talks about how good he is, how him and Ronaldo were the only two good players last year, how he's won our player of the season 2, 3 times in a row before Ronaldo got there. We loved him, how many points he's won us. Now he has one bad game. It seems like everyone's sort of turned on him, forgetting that he did win our player of the season 2 or 3 years in a row. So that's that. He did have a poor game, but in all honesty, he came out, he admitted he had a bad game, he admitted he cost us 3 points. When have we ever seen another player from us do that? How many mistakes has Maguire made? How many mistakes has Luke Shaw made? Rest of the team, how many mistakes have our attacking players made? Missed chances, not created anything, and not once have they come out and said, "No, it's my fault." So it just shows the mentality as well. If you're on this De Gea hate wagon, then I don't know what to say to you. But all right, anyway, forget about that. Defense, I can see why he picked the defense. Dalot's awful, but we've only got one Pasaka, and he's better. No matter how bad Dalot is, better than one Pasaka. Martinez had a poor game. Harry Maguire didn't help him at all. I think whoever plays next to Harry Maguire has a tougher game than they need to have. But he has to keep getting used to the Premier League, so I can see why he started. I have no idea why Harry Maguire is still captain. I have no idea why Harry Maguire is still playing. We'll talk more about that in another video. This is literally just a match review and finding out what went wrong with our team. I can see why Luke Shaw started, even though he's been terrible. Every time Ballester has come on, doesn't look strong enough. He's just he looks overexcited. Like the first game he came on against Brighton, first thing he did, someone went past him with the ball very easily. He jumped in for the tackle too quick. Someone went past him, came down, fouled him straight away. Needs to get used to the Premier League. Also, he's tiny. He does need to bulk up a bit. Like when you see him, he looks like N'Golo Kante's son. He looks tiny. He looks smaller than N'Golo Kante does on the pitch. So that just says it all. He looks tiny. He needs to bulk up. I can see why Luke Shaw started in this match over Malacia. I would have liked to see Malacia start in another game, but for this, I can understand why Luke Shaw started, even though he was poor. Midfield, biggest issue. I don't know what one of them did in that match. There's 5 of them. 5 midfielders. And I don't know what one of them did. Rashford, I don't know. He's probably the worst winger in the Premier League right now. Eriksen's been asked to play number 6. We've got no one else. He doesn't play there. He's not good there. He's not strong enough. He's shown that in the second goal. Any other team, and De Gea's pass was poor, but any other team, the holding player would have at least held off the defender, turned, or just passed, just got the pass off. I don't know. It was just a weird one. I don't know why Eriksen's even playing there anyway. Ten Hag does need to sort that out, and this is the issue. Even if we had Frankie De Jong, he's just a million times better Christian Eriksen. There's still no one to hold down that midfield for us. And I think we're one, and I know Ten Hag doesn't want to play like that, but I think he's going to change very quickly. So I think even if we get Frankie De Jong, or if we already had Frankie De Jong, we're still going to struggle because we got no one to break up play. We've got no one to sort out the midfield. We've got no one to sort out the defense because Harry Maguire can't do it. Martinez ain't doing it. So someone needs to sort out our team defensively on the pitch, which looks like no one does. You would expect your captain to do it. Maguire's not even a captain. He's got the armband, he ain't a captain. So we still need that number 6. In my opinion, we still need someone to break up play. Even with Frankie de Jong, we still need that player next to him. Unfortunately, we need 3 midfielders. We can't start Eriksen. Let's face it. Let's say exactly how it is. Eriksen was a free transfer that no one else was interested in, apart from Brentford. So we can't start Eriksen, in my opinion. He's not good enough. Can't start Fred. He's not good enough. We can't start McTominay. He's not good enough. Yet we're only in for one midfielder. And that doesn't even include Bruno Fernandes, who's been poor. Probably one of our worst players. He's just not been talked about that much because McTominay's taken the heat off. Pretty much, McTominay's taken the heat off everyone else on our team for being how bad they are. But we'll get into that in another video. Up front, Ronaldo. It's a shame seeing him with 5 midfielders behind him and not one of them can create a chance for him. You know, everyone talks about Jadon Sancho being this amazing winger, and unfortunately, I don't know what's going on, but we haven't seen it here yet. And I still think that Jadon Sancho is a great player, but I'm just, or maybe he's just overhyped like the rest of the British players for our club. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Rashford's terrible. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know why all of a sudden he can't beat someone or if the team just figured him out. But that's that. Subs, a big issue with our subs. Out of looking at on our subs bench, how many of them come on and change a match? Alanga can't do it. Garnacho can't do it. McTominay definitely ain't going to do it. James Garner ain't going to do it. By looks of it, he's going to be sold anyway. Van der Beek, and I know we all love Van der Beek. We all say Van der Beek get a chance. Let's just face reality. He's had 3 managers, and he can't get into the team of any of them. In fact, he's had 4 managers. He had Lampard as well. He still done nothing last year for them. So maybe, even though we love him, maybe we're just a bit biased towards him. Maybe he really isn't that good. Maybe he just ain't built for the Premier League. Maybe there's something with the manager doesn't see in training that we don't know. I don't know, but it just seems like it's getting a bit too suspicious now. But then on the other hand, we keep starting Maguire and he's terrible. So that's that. Varane should start over Maguire 100%. And like I said, I can understand why Malacia didn't start in this match. You saw Brentford's third goal from a corner, won the first header, won the second header. Malacia went, I can see why he didn't start. I do want to see him more in the next few games, though. Maybe not against Liverpool. Well, maybe against Liverpool. Can't be worse than Luke Shaw. But that's the starting team. On paper, you would still expect them to do better. Okay, we lined up pretty much 4-2-3-1. Eriksen holding, Fred up and down, Bruno just standing around. That's what he does right now. Or he tries to kick the ball as far as he can outside the stadium. Sancho on the right, Rashford on the left, and Ronaldo up front. Team, you look at the team, you think, all right, there's some players that we don't want playing, but it's a game we can win. With the team we had, we should win. I'm not taking anything away from Brentford, by the way, but let's stick to reality here. Brentford will finish in the bottom half of the table. And by the look of it, so will us. All right? So will Man United. But, right, before this match started, you would always expect us to not lose this match. Well, I sort of thought we would lose the match, but normally you wouldn't think we would lose the match, especially with the team and how we lined up. And the most worrying thing is, let's get to the stats. So, match stats. Day 1, 4-0. 66.7% possession we had. Yet we only had 4 shots on target. This whole pre-season, 6 weeks, we drilled into our team. We hold the ball. We make chances from that. As soon as we play a Premier League team that can structure defense, I mean, against Liverpool's C team, yeah, we're fine. Against Crystal Palace's B team, yeah, we're fine. But as soon as we come up against a half-decent team in Villa, they scored a late goal. We drew 2-2. We lost to Atletico. We drew to Real Vallecano, even though they had it wasn't really our first team. And now Brighton lose 2-0 or 2-1, sorry. They scored an own goal. And now Brentford. So what has actually changed? Because honestly, under Ragnick, we could have beat Crystal Palace B team. We could have beat Liverpool's C team, even under him. So I don't know. I'm not sure what much has changed. Football wise, we're not playing any different. I don't care what anyone says. We might hold a little bit more possession. We're not creating any chances, and that's the worrying thing about this. Defensive mistakes with our defense are always going to happen. The way our team is, us keep starting Maguire, us keep starting Luke Shaw, us not having a natural midfield that can hold down the team, it's always or break up the play. Always going to happen. We're going to concede goals. Unfortunately, two of the goals were from De Gea's mistakes. Um, but even then, if that was a different team, and let's not talk about Man City and Liverpool for a minute, because they're so far ahead of us. Let's talk about Arsenal. Like Arsenal were the joke team in the league. Let's say it exactly how it is. Arsenal were the banter club of the Premier League. Now it's Man United. As painful as that is for me to say, now it's Man United. Even Arsenal would have gave it a good go to get back into the match. We did nothing. We still created nothing. We went 2-0, we went 1-0 down, and it was like our players, because it was De Gea's fault for the goal. Guaranteed De Gea's fault for the first goal. It's like our players were like, okay, the game's over already. It's fine. It's not my fault. It's De Gea's fault. We've got someone to blame it on. That's what it seemed like to me, especially our midfield. They they didn't even try to create a chance. There was no movement. There was nothing. It's not like they were just happy that we could have lost or we were going to lose, and it wasn't their fault. That's all they were happy about. They can shift the blame to someone else. No matter if they create a chance or not, it doesn't matter because De Gea made a mistake. That's what it seemed like, and that's the issue with our team. No one wants to take responsibility at all. Shots, 15 shots, 4 on target. That's poor. For 66% possession, that is poor. Um, Not quite double the amount of touches, but nearly double the amount of touches. Again, over double the passes, but a lot of that was from our defense. We didn't really hold the ball and do anything with it in their half. Um, and this is what I don't understand with our team. Let's just look at this. We had 66.7% possession, yet we had 22 clearances. They had 13 clearances. Something is not going right. And before I get into this, they also had 8 corners compared to our 2. So I'm not sure what happened. Let me say that again. We had 66.7% possession. We had 22 clearances to their 13, and we had 2 corners to their 8. And we had 66.7% possession. How does that even work out? Like that's I just don't get how that can happen with so much possession. I just do not get it. And people still think we need Frankie de Jong and not a holding midfielder. I don't know. I don't get it. But that's that. That's that. Um, let's talk about the goals before we talk about Ten Hag. In fact, let's talk about Ten Hag first. Right, before I say anything about Ten Hag, I feel sorry for him. Clearly, he was told to get some players in, and unfortunately, he's not got one of his first choice players in. Don't forget, even though we signed Martinez for 50 whatever million, he wanted Timber. That was his number one player, his number one defender. He wanted Frankie de Jong. There was a rumor he wanted Darwin Núñez. He wanted Anthony. None of them. Right now, the season's 2 games in. He's got none of them. So I do feel sorry for him in that term. Okay, 100% the club have lied to him. The club have let him down. The people above him, CEO, director, they need to leave. They are just as bad as the Glazers, in my opinion. Glazers can't do their job to running a football club. These guys can't do their job to bringing players in. It's that simple. They need to leave as well. We need a whole reshuffle from new owners, new management, as in not Ten Hag, as in the management above him, and we need to rebuild again with people that actually know about football that don't know about business. It's all good having a great business mentality, and I can understand, right? I can understand why the Glazers want to make as much money as they can, But if you can do that, at least put someone in charge that knows about football for football thing. And it's really showing that the people in charge, people doing transfers, don't know about football. They just know about business. And it is hurting us. Look at this. After last year, if I was to ask any Man United fan, imagine next season we only signed Eriksen for free, Martinez, and Malacia, who, let's face it, no one even heard of Malacia last year, you know? And if that's the only three players we were going to get from 2 games in. Imagine if we said that after we lost the last game of last year, we just made top 6 because West Ham lost as well. All right, that's that. So even though I feel sorry for Ten Hag, I'm honestly not sure yet, and I really hope I'm wrong. The style he wants to play, how do I say this? Our players are not smart enough. We saw when Pep went to Bayern Munich and how clearly and how highly he spoke about how smart Philip Lahm is on the football pitch. Play right back, he can play left back, he can play centre back, he can play centre mid. He talked about smart players. If you look at the Man City team, if you look at the Liverpool team, they have a bunch of smart players that know how the game of football works. If you go to what goal was it? If you go to our fourth goal that we conceded, 2 things happened. Maguire has no clue where he is on the football pitch, or he doesn't know the offside rule. Because I don't know how he lets Ivan Tony behind him, but still be in our half, so it's not offside. I don't get it. I'm hoping it's the first reason. Because if he don't know the offside rule yet, then we're in bigger problems than we thought we were. You know? That's what I mean by smart players. We haven't got a smart midfielder. I can see why he's pushing for De Jong so much. But we don't have a player. Like, I honestly thought Bruno Fernandes was that. You know, like when he first came, he wasn't really making bad decisions. But now it's like he can't make a good decision on the ball. So I'm not sure where it is, but I don't know if Ten Hag his style was going to work for us. Really hope it does. He can get it too for sure, but he needs 11 players, and I don't think he's going to get. And he's not going to get 11 players. Let's face it, and especially 11 players that he wants. He's not so far. He's not got one player that he wanted. So good luck with him trying to get 11 players that he wants. You know, with the board that we have. Also, one main issue with Ten Hag, he came in, and I don't know if he overestimated his own ability or his own ego, or he overestimated the Manchester United squad, or he underestimated the Premier League. But he came in, he talked about how our club finished second during COVID, and also he didn't add we finished second because the whole of Liverpool's defense was injured for a lot of that season. You know, if Liverpool had a full team, they would have finished second. Let's face it. If there was fans in the stadium, I mean, look how well Leeds did, and then when fans came back, they just avoided relegation. You know, it affects teams differently. So yeah, he said that we finished second. So I don't know what that was about, to be honest. I just hope he didn't think about it. He just made it. Because if he honestly thought this team's good because they finished second during that season, then he's clueless about what actually happened in the Premier League. He also said he likes Dalot. He said he liked his attacking ability when he first came in. That was another red flag for me because Dalot is useless. And then he also, I mean, there's a few things that I could say he should have really thought about. And I don't want to turn this into against Ten Hag. I love the guy. I want him to succeed with us. I feel sorry for him more than anything. He kept having Maguire as the captain, which pretty much means he's going to start every game, no matter how bad he is. Even though we have every little detail about our players after last year. With Ragnick, you can like him or you can hate him. He's the only one that told us fans the truth of what's going on in the club. Other than that, we have to hear it from the league. He's the only one that told us the truth, and he told us what we actually did. So for that, you gotta love him. And right now, it's proven that he's correct. It's proven that every past manager talked about the board and how bad the board are actually correct about it. So Ten Hag should not have kept Maguire as captain. It pretty much guaranteed his starting place in the squad, even though he's terrible. Also, I don't know if he underrated how hard the Premier League is as well. Um, he he came in and he said, and this was an issue for me mostly. Whether you agree with me or not, bar Ronaldo and De Gea last year, all these Man United players, they laughed in our fan face with their performances. They could not care less. We saw that last year. And by Ten Hag coming in and saying everyone gets a clean slate, that really for me was like, hold on. These players disrespected the last manager. Don't forget, Rangnick was our manager at the time. You know, regardless if it was just for half a season or not, he was our manager. These players solely disrespected him. There was rumors that they weren't listening to tactics. There was rumors they were calling him spec in certain group chats. There was all sorts. You know, they clearly weren't performing on purpose. They weren't putting in. They were not performing, but they weren't putting enough effort in on purpose. We saw that last year. No one can disagree with that. These players did not try under Rangnick. They disrespected him. Our manager, they disrespected. For our new manager to come in, knowing all this, let's face it, these guys know that he's not stupid. He knows it. And for him to say everyone gets a clean slate, that to me was just a big mistake. You know, but you never know. He might have learned from it now. Maybe he knows these players just let him down in a heartbeat like they have done. You know, because we heard preseason how good the camp was, how much positive vibes there were. Now look at us. You know, we played a couple of average teams in the Premier League. Let's face it. Let's face it. These guys ain't going to be in top half of the table. Yet they made us look like they were going to win the league and we were going to get relegated. That's the way it looked. But that's that. I'm not hating against Ten Hag. I just think there are the things done wrong. I still hope he succeeds. I still do feel sorry for him. I think the board have let him down massively. Okay, this video is going on forever. I've got so much to talk about. We'll do like Ronaldo versus Man United in the next video, but let's talk about the goals quickly before we finish up. Josh De Silva's goal. There's nothing to say about it. De Gea should not have let that in. Poor goalkeeping. I don't blame. I do blame De Gea for sure, but people make mistakes. You know how his mistakes obviously are more known because he's the goalkeeper. But to me, what is the difference between De Gea making that mistake and five of our midfielders not getting one chance for our striker? Do you know what? You know, maybe I'll take a big L on this. Maybe I won't. What's the difference between De Gea letting the ball go through him, conceding a goal, um, not giving Ericsson a strong enough pass, fault for the second goal? What's the difference between that and our players not even creating one chance? Rashford not beating one person in a one-on-one. Sancho not beating one person in a one-on-one. Bruno, I don't know what he even does on the football pitch anymore, apart from kick the ball outside of the stadium. Like, do you know what I'm saying? What is the difference? One concedes a goal. The others ain't doing anything to score a goal though. So that's that. Ben Mee's second goal, we're not gonna really save that. We lost the first header. We lost the second header. Martinez was never gonna win that header. Fourth goal, it was just a mess. Maguire, I blame him 100% for it. You cannot let someone, if you know you're slow, and Maguire, let's face it, he knows he's not the quickest player. You cannot let someone be behind you in our own half, so it can't be offside. It just can't happen. Martinez had to run across. Luke Shaw got beaten by pace. Like you can't blame Luke Shaw for getting beaten by pace. You can't blame Martinez for not getting there. To me, Harry Maguire's at fault for that. And all three goals happened so quick. It's like we dropped our heads after the first. In the Premier League, when you drop your head after the first goal, teams just punish you. No matter how good they are, no matter how bad they are, they will just punish you. In my opinion, all four goals could have been stopped quite easily, but it just shows where we are at as a, you know. We'll see how we get on next game. Liverpool, it's going to be tough. I mean, now looking back at our match, obviously I didn't want to do this video straight after our match. I was more angry and annoyed. I would have said a lot more things that probably weren't true or didn't make sense to a lot of other fans. Now looking back at it after a couple of days, one thing I still can't get my head around that we spoke about earlier is how can we have 66.7% possession and have more clearances than the other team and have a quarter of the corners than amount of the corners than the other team. Like, it's just crazy. And I'm all for this possession play, but it just shows we done nothing with possession. And all of our possession was in our own half. So I don't know what to say about that. We can hope for better things. Liverpool next game it will be tough, but you never know. Liverpool just drew again tonight against Palace. 2 games for them, 2 draws. So they're not on the best form. Nunes got sent off. We'll see how we go. We might get a win. I can't see it happening. Or this might be Liverpool's game where they really shoot off the season. Maybe Liverpool like, do you know what? We've had 2 tough games. Man United we should smack, and then this will start our season off. Or they might have a worse season than us. Who knows? Who knows? But I'll look forward to it. I don't know what Ten Hag's going to do with the team. Like and this is the issue. There's no. I wouldn't start any of them 11 players apart from Ronaldo, and we'll do a whole video about Ronaldo tomorrow or the next day. I wouldn't start any of the players to be honest. I would start De Gea. He made a mistake. Big deal. I'll start De Gea. I would still start Ronaldo to be honest. Other than that, I wouldn't start any of them. But let's face it, if we don't start any of them, we're stuck with Wan-Bissaka, Garnacho, Elanga. I love these guys, by the way, but let's face it, they're not starters for Man United. We're stuck with Scott McTominay. Looks like James Garner's going to be sold. So that's where we're at. We need a lot of signings. We've got a lot of work to do in the last 2 weeks left of the transfer window. Because if we do not bring in 2 players, 2 players at least, I would not surprise if we finish 11th, 12th, 13th in the league. But that's that. Anyway, I will catch you guys for the next video. If you want highlights and stuff as well while I talk, let me know down below. I will catch you guys in the next video.